Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. So, guys, I hope you're having a good evening. It's very pleasant here. It's going to be another chilly night, but great sleeping weather. And so, what I want to talk about is really something that is happening to so many people right now. And I think it could only be likened to what we would call the dark night of the soul. So many people are going through this period that is so incredibly challenging, so challenging right now. And actually, I'll even take it a step farther. Honestly, it feels right now that the the only way we could call this is kind of like the dark side, dark forces, that they're actually attacking people out in the open to a much higher degree than ever before. Much higher degree than ever experienced before. So, if somebody is intuitive, born with a gift, somebody has what we would call psychic gifts, and can see dead people, so to speak, and quite literally, and see into other dimensions and beings. They are giving off a light that is very bright, and this light will attract entities to it. So right now what we have going on is what we would call ascension here on Gaia, on Earth. And the planet is changing its frequency. It's going up in frequency. And so are the beings. We're being exposed to these cosmic rays at such a high level that they are really changing our DNA, and they're making everybody more psychic, more intuitive. Everybody's light is getting brighter. And what's happening in many cases is that is in turn, I should say, basically drawing other entities in closer to people, noticing the ones especially that are shining very brightly. So many people feel like they are under a psychic attack. We had talked about these marks that appear from nowhere, feeling as if all of a sudden something had bitten you, or like you got stung by a bee almost, and you don't know how that could be. You're inside, there's nothing around, and there'll be a small, for instance, perhaps a circular mark actually drawing blood. Well, we've talked about nanotechnology and the fact that what you're looking at right now is the way that a lot of this nanotechnology perhaps has been delivered. And perhaps, some believe it's in all of us right now. So that is one thing, the very physical, but also if we are going up into like the fourth density, the density where the lower astral realms are, where there are, basically these beings that are kind of what we would call the little nasties, so to speak, in magic circles. These beings, these entities actually feed off of people's energy. They feed off of people's emotions. They feed off of the sexual energy, and we have called them by names like incubus and succubus, for instance, different types of demonic beings. And I think we can agree that when we're talking about these lower astral realm beings, they are most definitely demonic in nature, in that they are feeding off of, in many cases, the misery and suffering of others. And perhaps that's why there's so much war on the planet in the first place. So, as we are moving up through these realms, if we are going up into the area which is their natural habitat, they will appear more solid. They're going to see us, and perhaps they will be attacking those of us that are holding more light and trying to bring a positive vibration to the world, trying to help change the world into, that heaven on earth that has been prophesized. So these beings would do anything they can to keep their food source. And I've had so many of you reaching out to me telling me your stories, and you know what? They are all so very similar. So very similar. So many people are going through these hard times. One dear friend actually found themselves in the same spot they were 20 years ago, and they're very advanced in their understanding of how things work. And yet, you know, they're like, how did I allow myself to be put back in this position I was in 20 years ago? I just don't understand it. Or repeating again with a different relationship that doesn't work when we think we're going on the highest path. We're going to be evolving at different rates. And so even if you guys might have melded so perfectly just a year ago, 9 months ago, you could be at completely different levels and places spiritually in 3 to 6 months because everything is speeding up. It's speeding up to such a high degree. Many people are getting these bouts of anxiety, for instance, feelings of waves of anxiety and then dizziness, and they come out of nowhere. And many are also feeling very frustrated, very, very frustrated with their situations that they just can't seem to get out of. This is all part of the ascension process. It is all part of our taking that next step. And if it would be one thing if it was just us working through this. It's something else now because there are these forces that are working against us and trying to do their very best to keep us from escaping to where they can't influence us anymore in any way, shape, or form. So they're really trying to hold on to us as best as they can. And, I will share with you also, there is a very gifted child that, I'm blessed to know. And she can see into the other side, and she sees them do it all the time, where these beings will actually start a fight between people, and they'll actually come up, and they'll actually do something, like poke somebody in the back, and there's a person right behind them. The person turns around and says, "Why'd you do that?" And the person's like, "Do what? I don't know what you're talking about." And then a fight ensues, an argument ensues. Or hiding something, like hiding an object. "Where'd you put my glasses? I didn't see your glasses." There are beings that actually play these games, and it's so interesting because, we have the mythology talking about elves and gnomes and, different beings like that will play these games on humans. So we see these things have always happened. We've just lost touch with the fact that there's different dimensions all around us. Everything is operating at a different vibrational frequency. And we're at a point right now where it's changing and we are increasing and we are going up into a spot where we're going to be encountering a lot of the creatures of myths and legends. We are actually going to be encountering them. You guys are seeing them. You're seeing cloud formations that look like dragons. You're seeing, different things in the sky. We're seeing all sorts of strange orbs and unexplained phenomenon everywhere. We could think of it as the thinning of the veil, but really what it is more is just that we are coming into a different vibrational rate and frequency. We're changing that radio channel into a new reality. And so some beings that did not appear physical to us in the past are going to appear much more dense and actually potentially even physical at some point. And perhaps this will even end up with the return of the gods, quote unquote. These other beings that, perhaps we were in contact with them much more openly in the golden age when we were vibrating at a higher rate ourselves. And we lost that ability to communicate with them and actually see and get response. because of our falling in frequency. And I can't help but think again and again, when we're talking about the fallen angels, and, this is all a vibrational game that we're talking about. And if we are entering, and we have been in the photon belt for 30 years now, and when we're in this belt, which some think lasts about 2,000 years, and then we're out of it for about 10,000, then we're back in for 2,000, then we're out for 10,000. So, perhaps all those things that we have myths and legends about, we're actually going to be seeing once again. That is kind of exciting to think about, perhaps terrifying at the same time, depending on our consciousness, because it is all about where we are vibrating. So as we go through this complete roller coaster and we're purging these lower energies, it is imperative that we always are staying as high in vibration as we can ourselves, holding on to the energies of pure light, love, and compassion, and forgiveness, and not allowing ourselves to be pulled down in the muck and the mire of insignificant drama in the bigger scheme of things. And so these are most definitely challenging times. These are most definitely the times that we can call the dark night of the soul in so many ways. So let's lift each other up as we work through these times, pick each other up. We're going to each need, a hand, a helping hand at some point in time. So let us always keep our hearts open and our hands out there for each other. Thank you guys so much for your support. Like, share, subscribe, click the bell, get all notifications. And again, I invite you to join us on Patreon as well. For just $1 a month or more, it's up to you. You can join us and help support the channel, and also see some videos that won't be on YouTube. As always, my friends, God bless in love and light.